We're now turning to the other big story today, a mega move for mega cap Google after its big antitrust win. Dan Ives is global head of technology research with Wedbush. He joins us now. It's good to see you. Quite obviously, given this ruling, is it the outcome that you expected?
Yeah, I mean, look, we talked about it. I think this DOJ was always the bark was going to be worse than the bite. I think it's the dream scenario for Google. It's a dream scenario for Apple. Because now they really get unleashed from an M&A perspective as well as ultimately with AI. And you look at that search deal. I mean, this is now, I believe, going to be really the next stage of growth for Google as well as Apple.
I mean, were you fearing the worst outcome possible here? Where did that sort of percolate, inside of your thoughts as you were waiting, like many investors were, for a decision?
Yeah, Scott, I'd say the last year, we've talked to so many investors hand-holding through this, and we continued to believe that ultimately this is probably going to be the scenario. We didn't see a breakup. We didn't see Chrome selling up. We didn't see anything from an Apple perspective that was going to ruin that relationship from a $20 billion in terms of search. But I think it speaks to the point. Look, the Beltway is big tech. It's going to continue to be a battle. It doesn't end here, but for Google, it's a champagne moment because now they're going to be unleashed, especially when it comes to AI. That goes from a headwind now to a tailwind.
Well, investors are popping the corks to play that forward, obviously today, given the biggest move in the stock since April. Do you think for the stock it closes the valuation gap here forward because it does trade at a reasonable discount to its mega cap peers?
Yeah, I mean, look, we raised price target 245. But ultimately, and me and my colleague Scott Devitt have talked about it. I mean, this could be a $300 stock because now you're going to start to see the multiple expand. You take now the DOJ overhang, the antitrust. I now think Apple and Google, potentially could start to walk down the aisle in terms of a bigger Gemini partnership from an AI perspective. And look, and I think this is one. It was a hated name, and I get all the in terms of the risk. But now I think many are sort of underweight or, enough. And I think this is a stock that could have a 3 in front of it as we go into the next 6 months.
I mean, a hated name is a bit of an overstatement, probably, given, if you look at the chart, what was concern around the name has become, I think, relief. I mean, the stock had rallied a good amount coming into this. So let's not act like it was universally hated. I'm talking about Alphabet, of course. Before we break out the caviar also to go with the champagne that you're ready to pop, this does not really address the bigger picture issue for Alphabet, does it, in terms of the threat of losing its absolute dominance as it relates to search because of AI?
Look, we talked about it last quarter. I mean, if you look at search and you look at all the data, look, I'm not saying there's not a headwind there, but I actually believe they're going to ultimately turn this into just really what's going to be a massive transformation opportunity. Search, if you look at it, it's going to continue to see strength like we saw the last few quarters. It's holding up Rock of Gibraltar. I'm not going to say that down the road you're not going to have some maybe softness, but ultimately now you start to focus on Gemini, the AI piece. That ultimately is really going to, I think, be a significant catalyst to the name. I continue to think that was way overdone in terms of some of the fears. They're proving it day by day. Now the DOJ thing, that's in the rearview mirror. I mean, look, this is kind of a dream scenario for a bull on Alphabet.
Yeah, well, it feels like it today. I'm going to let you run. Dan, thanks. Dan Ives, Wedbush.